Hello, welcome to this week's book review. And this week's book is It Didn't Start With You: How Inherited Family Trauma Shapes Who We Are and How to End the Cycle. And the author is Mark Wolynn. And this is the book right here. And this book is about 200 pages, published. When was this book published? This book was published in 2016. And so for me, this book was okay. It was good enough. I think it was okay. It took me, I didn't really get through it reading all of it from front to back. I read the first 3 chapters, kind of skimmed through the rest because I think going on chapter 3 or 4, I kind of lost interest because the book was the first chapter or the chapter before the first intro was pretty good, and the author was talking about his experience, how he almost went blind, and then I guess he took some kind of like sabbatical overseas, ended up in Indonesia, was meeting with a lot of spiritual healers, only to discover that the whatever internal pain he was feeling was due to an issue that he had with his mom. And then, so I think he said one of the spiritual healers told him, asked about his, go home or go home to your mom or something like that. And so that's what he did, and he mended his relationship with his mom, and then somehow his vision returned. And I believe this guy is a PhD psychologist. I don't know. I didn't do too much research on the author, but the book. So that was like the intro, and then he shares some anecdotes throughout the book, but just like some of his patients and people that he did family mending therapy with. And one guy that I remember, one story, he said that I think the patient was 19 or 18, and on his 19th birthday or something, he started having these panic attacks before going to sleep, so he couldn't sleep. And it turns out, like, as they delved deeper into his family history, that something happened to his uncle. And when his uncle was, I think, 19 or 20 or 21, that he went to fix some kind of power line during a bad snowstorm, and that led to the uncle falling asleep and dying, like falling into the snow, and then I guess he froze to death. And so the guy was saying that somehow that family trauma that his patient never knew about was somehow connected to his sleep and deprivation condition, or his fear of going to sleep. And then there were some other examples about this, about his other patients, okay? And then I think he, in the book, there's mentions of like the Holocaust and how Holocaust survivors' offsprings may face family issues, and then also like genocides and things of that nature. But the one thing that disappointed me about the book, that there was no mention, absolutely none. Even though I didn't thoroughly read the book, I skimmed through it, and there's an index in the back, and there was just no mention of slavery and segregation and racism in America. So I think that's something that you as a reader would have to, if this concept or this idea that that there is inherited family trauma that can lead to other psychological or behavioral issues with the offspring and forthcoming generation, if you believe in that kind of stuff, then I guess somehow you can kind of draw your own conclusion and tie it in there. But I am curious as to why that was one historical incident that was not mentioned, even though the rest were. And so what else? So this book is, if you're interested in mending your family relationships, whether it's with your mom or your dad, then it's a good book. Personally, I don't need to. I feel like I have a very good and strong relationship with my family. But yeah, it's the same idea, I guess, as genes that are passed on from generation to generation, that environmental factors, in this case, like traumas, conditions, can be passed on. And that's why I said I just feel like the title of the book really sums up the book. But if you want all of like the details and want to read about some of his patients, or like I think in the book he makes some suggestions about how to go about mending the relationship with the familial relationship, then go ahead and read the book. But for me, just glancing through it was good enough. So I put my review on Goodreads, and this book, I think I rated it like a 3 maybe. I don't know, but yeah, check it out. This is the book of the week. And yes, moving forward, I think I'm gonna start doing the books in like clusters. So I'll do like a cluster of books that I've read and got through versus a cluster that I did not get through, because sometimes I'll start on a book but it doesn't really hold my attention that long or interest, and so I kind of put it to the side, and then I just end up not finishing it, and then trying to go back and finish it a month or two later, and you kind of forget a little bit of what you read. So yes, my next few videos are going to be, because so I have this reading challenge to read at least, they started off 100 book a month. I'm sorry, 100 book within a year, and then it changed to 50 or 52 books this year. And so far, I think I'm like halfway, and the year is almost ending. So yes, the upcoming books are going to probably be shorter books, just so that I can try and meet my goal of reading at least 50 books this year. So thank you for watching. Have a great week.